High Velocity Wrestling is a professional wrestling promotion based in Western North Carolina. HVW's events provide a family atmosphere featuring old school pro wrestling with a modern day flair, giving a little something for everyone. Hey, what is up? Welcome to the HVW Podcast, the official podcast for High Velocity Wrestling. I am your host, Tom Clark, and we're here to give you the latest news and rumors surrounding the best pro wrestling promotion in the Carolinas, as well as exclusive interviews that you will only find here. Please remember to visit us online at highvelocitywrestling.com and follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are available in the episode's description. What's going on, folks? Hope everyone out there is doing well. This is only the third episode of the podcast, but there's a lot of things we have to cover. We've teased this episode on social media, so we wanted to get right to it. Lots of stuff to talk about. We don't want to waste any more time, so we want to move on and press ahead as usual and bring on our guest, the man of the hour, the owner and promoter of HVW, Mr. Gary Benfield. Gary, what's up, man? How are you doing tonight?
Yo, what's up, Tom? How's everybody doing out there?
Man, we're doing well. It's late. It's been a lazy Sunday, but it's all good. We got tons of stuff to talk about. We are about 3 weeks removed from our comeback event, Resurrected, which took place on January 25th. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit, but we want to go ahead and reveal the breaking news that we teased earlier today on social media. Episode 2, we talked about the fact that HVW had secured an ongoing event at the American Legion Post 77 in Hendersonville, and now we've got some more information to release. So, Gary, we're going to let you take it away here.
Yes, sir, brother. I'm proud to announce that our shows are going to take place every other month, starting in March at the American Legion Hall, and we're going to stick with the same name for every show. And Tom, you ready? You ready for this?
Hit me.
It's HVW Overdrive.
I love the name. I think it's perfect. I think it fits. So you and I have discussed this a lot behind the scenes, but we've not made any of this public. So tell the folks what's the idea behind this show, and how's it going to be different from the typical HVW event?
Well, Overdrive is going to be our, what do I say, kind of like a showcase show. It's going to be an opportunity for talent that we may not be very familiar with to come in and show us what they got. And hopefully we can get them booked on the bigger show at Trinity, and keep hot, fresh talent rolling in the doors of High Velocity Wrestling.
Yes, so one event will typically segue into the next. I've compared this to like an ongoing TV show, where if you tune into season 3 of a hit TV show, you may be a little lost as to what's going on if you've never watched an episode. We tend to be sort of a self-contained promotion. You don't have to watch any of the social media leading into an event if you don't want to. However, if you don't, you're probably going to be missing some things. You're probably going to be missing some of the backstory, which is important. It does not necessarily mean that you have to watch each and every event to piece everything together. Does it help? Of course it does. But what we're saying here is that if your first HVW event is a Legion Hall show, you can pretty much hit the ground running. So you can get on board whenever you want to. We're hoping you get on board extremely soon. We've got lots of places here for brand new fans. We've got a bandwagon, as they say. People are jumping on board like crazy. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about the Legion Hall show. I think it's going to be a great thing. And plus it's for a good cause as well, working with the Legion.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different because the venue's small. So, we're not going to sell advance tickets for this. It'll be tickets purchased at the door only. They'll be $15 a ticket. The Legion Hall will have their kitchen up and running. If you want to have a beer or a cocktail while you're watching the show, that'll be available. But we're going to put on solid wrestling just like we would anywhere else. We're going to showcase talent that hopefully you've not seen in this area, along with some of our normal HVW superstars. I'm excited, Tom. It's going to be a great show.
We've been brainstorming the name of the show for quite some time, and we were stuck on the word showcase. And although that name was not chosen, it does sort of tend to fit the mood and the vibe of the entire presentation. And I think it's absolutely a good move to feature some of the rising stars. If you folks have been paying attention, we now have a new addition to HighVelocityWrestling.com. It's a blog that yours truly is contributing to pretty much on a daily basis at this point. And the latest column that I wrote talks about the future of HVW in terms of the new direction that we're going in. Yes, we have established talent that you folks have been familiar with from years past, but we, along with every other successful pro wrestling company on the planet, we all go into this thing with the same idea that it's the new blood, it's the new talent that's going to help carry our industry forward. And HVW is no exception. And I think it's going to be a cool deal, man, to like you said, to get to see these folks who maybe did not have a shot before, maybe who are not familiar with the fans, or fans are not familiar with them. In other words, to actually get out there and apply their craft and to show off in an HVW ring.
Well, Tom, there's a ton of top-notch talent outside of this area. And me as a promoter, I don't want to deliver a stale product. I want to keep fresh faces. I want our fans to feel like they got their money worth, their money's worth in the ticket that they bought to come into the show. Our ticket prices are a little more expensive than most shows in the area, but that's because we're delivering the absolutely best talent we can deliver, along with top-notch production with our shows.
Well, as an acquaintance, as one of the HVW team has said to us behind the scenes, if you pay for a $5 wrestling ticket, you're going to get a $5 wrestling show. And, as a fan, I have no problem paying up if the action's good. I've never had an issue with that. I personally have never balked at a ticket price. And I know a lot of our fans are on a budget, and I completely get that. Our fans are blue-collar folks, and I totally respect it. I'm a blue-collar guy myself. But I expect more from my pro wrestling than a $5 presentation. And the folks that are presenting that product, go with God, and we wish you all the best. But that's just not who HVW is. I think that's why we stand out from the rest at this point.
Well, I agree. And I'm not here to talk down to anybody or anything like that. It's just I truly believe in my product, and I feel like with the work we put into it, our product is worth more than $5. It's worth more than $8. It's worth more than $10. That's why we only run one show a month, so it can be affordable to our fans. If we were running 2 or 3 shows a month at $20 a ticket, our fans wouldn't be able to afford to come to that every show.
Right.
So if we keep it at one show a month and deliver the absolute best, I don't think our fans will have a problem paying our ticket prices.
Absolutely. And we've talked many times in the past about what it costs to go to a movie these days. By the time you buy one movie ticket and you spend probably more than you paid for the ticket at the concession stand, suddenly you're double. You're not going to pay double the ticket price at our concession stand unless you're just really, really hungry and thirsty. So, although all things being considered, I think it's a bargain. And, at the end of the day, if I'm going to a restaurant and if I want a good steak, I'm willing to pay a little bit more than I am for a piece of chicken. And I don't believe that we are a piece of chicken. If anybody gets that analogy, that's great because I'm getting it. So I'll pay up if it means getting a good filet, which I think is what we're offering. It's an exciting time for us, man. Like I said before, our comeback event was January 25th, which is bringing us to Overdrive. We can't talk about Overdrive without telling the good people out there, when is the first edition of Overdrive? Hit them with the date.
The first edition of Overdrive will be March the 28th at the American Legion Hall, downtown Hendersonville. And I'm sorry, Tom, I don't have the address right in front of me.
I don't have that either, but I can definitely look it up. That's the joys of technology.
we will post that stuff on with the podcast for sure. But the first doors will open at 6 o'clock. The action will start at 7. And I'm telling you, it's tight, fans. The chairs are going to be tight, and the seats are going to go quick.
And that address is 216 4th Avenue West, Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Yes.
So
and
there you go.
all the money taken in from the kitchen and the bar at the American Legion will go towards veteran services, along with some kickback from HVW ticket sales will be given back to the veteran services at the American Legion.
That's right, folks. No, we don't get a cut, as they say. We don't get a cut of concessions. That money's going for a good cause. And as we said, I believe in episode 2, the discussion about running our show, running our event in an establishment that serves alcohol was a serious conversation. We did not take that lightly. We gave serious thought, serious discussion. The board of directors, we had a meeting one night that I swear went over 2 hours, if my math is right, if I'm remembering correctly. And it was more than one meeting. And we were stressed about the topic, to be honest with you. But the money is going to a good cause. The American Legion runs a good, clean outfit. It will be family friendly in that regard. So your family, your folks will be safe. The wrestlers will be safe as always. And we're looking forward to a good time, man. I think it's going to be a blast.
Well, I mean, brother, I'm telling you, you're definitely going to be up close and personal. I mean, it's the action's going to be in your face. But back to the alcohol thing, Tom. You know, you're right. We did. We talked and we talked and we talked and we talked some more about it. And you know, if you take your kid to the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, they're serving beer.
Right.
I mean, you can buy a beer at the circus. You know, so it's not like, I don't know, man. Everything's going to be fine. We'll have security on hand. Nobody's going to get out of hand. You know, we're not going to allow a bunch of just crazy drunks in there. We will have it under control, and it will be taken care of.
Yeah, it's not like bootlegging alcohol in the 1920s. So we're a far cry from that. But yeah, we just wanted you folks out there to know that we did take the discussion very seriously. We didn't take going to this thing half-hearted at all. It was very serious business to us. Everything we do is serious business. We take all of this very seriously in an industry that is sometimes considered not to be a legitimate sport, that is slammed, that is criticized by people outside our four walls that don't typically get what pro wrestling is all about. As fans, you folks have heard it your entire lives. You'll probably hear it the rest of your lives. As people that are inside the business, we hear it a lot too. But it is 2020. Attitudes have changed. Pro wrestling at its peak, I believe, was its most popular during the Attitude Era. But it's undergone a resurgence. It's undergone a makeover of sorts because of the streaming services, which has been a great benefit to the industry. It's helped all of us, really, because it's exposed the product to people all around the world, not just people here in the States or people solely in Japan. The pro wrestling world has grown and shrunk all at the same time because now you can get content from everywhere around the world at the touch of a finger, so that's a good thing. Speaking of streaming services, speaking of digital content, we want to let you guys know we do have plans in place to release Resurrected on a digital stream and also on a DVD format. We know it's taking a while to get there. We want you guys to know that we are putting the finishing touches on this. We want it to be top notch. I've used that word so many times on social media for HVW. And we just want it to be top notch. We want it to look good, to sound good, to be something that you're proud to show to your friends and family, and something that we're proud to show to you. We don't take any of this lightly, as I said before. We're very serious about this. And I know that you've had the opportunity to see some cuts and to see some of the raw footage as it's being edited together. And the product, man, the show looks good on tape for sure.
You know, it's over the years, we've had opportunities to do some filming. You know, we've had DVDs in the past, but it was never anything like this. I'm very excited to see the final product, and I'm very excited for our fans to see our comeback show, Tom, because from start to finish, that show was on fire. That show was on fire from the time the first guy's music hit till we said good night, and the crowd was jacked up all night long.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I had a blast. I thought it was fantastic. I was happy with everything that happened. I mean, I don't know that it could have gone any better, to be honest with you. I was just crazy happy with all of it. And we had a few technical issues. We're going to be straight with you up front and transparent, as we always are in this company. We had some technical issues, but I'll be honest with you. I don't know how many shows I've been to that didn't have an issue of some sort. And those things have been ironed out and addressed. And at the end of the day, no one really cared, because the only thing that matters is, did you entertain the crowd? Did you make them happy? And I think we left them happy, but I also believe that we left them wanting more, which is always a good thing. And I think that Resurrected delivered on every level, and I could not have been happier with how it turned out.
Well, I agree. I got a little aggravated with we was having microphone issues and, just a couple little production flaws, but we got that worked out by halfway through the first match, and then everything was fine. But, Tom, on Sunday, I literally had to shut my phone off.
Right.
It would not stop dinging. Ding, 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 all day long. I finally shut my phone off at like 1 o'clock. The fan, I mean, it was the likes on the HVW Facebook page. Like, I think I just looked at it before we come on live, and like in the last 7 days, we've gained over 200 new likes. Our Facebook page is almost at 900 likes.
Yeah, it's blowing up. And to your point, we're very accustomed to getting good traffic on social media. We're used to that. We've been very grateful for it. But starting January 26th, it went nuclear. And
it was insane.
Yeah, like you said, and it wasn't just the fans that showed up that were talking. It was people that had heard about it that were talking, and that were looking. Talents and wrestlers that didn't get on the card. Wrestlers from out of state, from out of country, were commenting on it. And it, that's a great feeling to know that you're heading in the right direction. And I thought, as I said before, I think that we had a lot of different goals to accomplish. I think we accomplished all of them. I just can't think of anything that was left undone. We did end up rushed in certain spots because a pro wrestling event, folks, if you've ever been involved behind the scenes of any sort of presentation, anything having to do with show business of any kind, you know that once the thing starts rolling, it's 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And my God, it was intermission before I knew it.
It don't slow down, that's for sure. And it's I've always liked to keep a steady pace with the show, because I just don't like downtime. I don't like downtime between the matches. If one match gets the fans jacked up, I want to get the next match rolling to keep them up. I don't like downtime between matches. I don't like 5-minute promos on the mic. So it's action, action, action.
Yeah, to your point, I think we both have been fans for long enough in our lives to know when too much mic time is too much mic time. And sometimes the stars are eager to make their voices heard. And, there are opportunities for stars to speak their minds. And, every time a talent chooses to grab a mic and speak his or her mind, although you're interested in what they have to say, you're always wondering, how long is this going to take? And I hate to make it sound like that, but not only are you on a time constraint in terms of the event itself, but you have to be highly aware of what's that talent going to say, how are the fans going to receive it. But as you said, action is what we're all about, and we didn't have very many folks at Resurrected that wanted to waste their time talking on the stick. They wanted to get out there. They wanted to show off. That's what they were there for. And they wanted to win their matches, which was very important, obviously.
Well, there's like you said, it's a show. There's production behind it. It's in today's world with social media, we have opportunities to do things that we never had before. We used to have to go out to the ring and cut promos to advance our storylines and build the story that we wanted to tell. We can do that on social media now. You know, we can do all of that stuff on our social media. So on show nights, let's get it on. Let's get to the ring and let's do what the people want to see, and that's wrestling.
Absolutely. And speaking of using social media as a tool, which I think that I personally don't know of another company that does it the way we do, at least not on our level. I don't consider anyone to be on our level, and that's no disrespect to anyone else. But I just feel like we're on our own level, and you know, you look at the most successful companies, the most successful CEOs in any walk of life, in any form of business, and most of those guys just don't see anyone as being competition, because while they're not ignorant of who else is out there, they can't waste their time or spend all their time focusing on the guy next to them, which is what HVW is doing. It's not that we're not aware. It's not that we wish ill will upon anyone. We never have. We never will. It's just that we're so consumed with what we're doing that there's just not enough hours in the day to sweat what everyone else is doing. And I think that's one of the things that sets us apart from everyone else.
Well, that's we just got to keep doing our own thing. Uh, we're we're not gonna get where we want to be if we're doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
So, you know, we still have a lot of work to do to get where we want to go, but I think we're headed in the right track. And there's, you know, I was very proud to see a couple promoters sitting in the crowd at Resurrected, and it was pretty awesome that me and you went out and supported Michael Butler's show last night. I had a good time. I think Michael's got something pretty good going on. I think, you know, with a few changes, he could be headed in the right direction. And I would love to hopefully work with him in the future.
And Michael's, and not only is he a good guy, he's a friendly guy. He's very open. He wants to get better. We all want to get better. There's no doubt about that, no question about that. I don't think anyone's claiming to be an expert here at all. It's just a matter of, you know, what's your vision for your company? What's your vision for yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I think that Michael's vision is still taking shape, and I fully respect that. And like you said, I think there's opportunity there to do business in the future. And, you know, dude, this goes back to the first time that I ever went live on Facebook for the company. Our first week of existence, the first day we went live on Facebook, I said we don't wish anyone harm. We're here to work with promotions if they're out to run a good event and to promote a positive vibe, positive atmosphere, entertain the fans, and do respect and do right by the business. Then we want to work with you, and I think we've stuck to that to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's there's no need in dwelling in the past. It's time just to move forward.
Absolutely.
And you know, if the guys that are constantly sitting around talking crap and hating on one another would just open their eyes and realize the business that could be done if we could all just put the past behind us and move forward, there's a huge opportunity there.
And you know, we've said it 1,000 times if we've said it once. There's so much opportunity here, and I really believe, like you said, that there's opportunities there to do good things, to join together, to band together, to set differences aside, to move towards something positive. But you know, because this thing is run by humans, that means there's going to be ego involved. There's going to be agendas involved. There's going to be unfortunately a healthy amount of disrespect involved, which is unfortunate. But you know, like we've talked about many times behind closed doors, we can't allow negativity to hinder progress. It just doesn't. You know, at the end of the day, it only hurts us. It doesn't hurt the one that's trying to stir the pot. They're not hurt by it at all. We're the ones that end up suffering because of it. So that's our message to the fans. If you take nothing else from this particular episode, we are trying to maintain a positive vibe and a positive outlook. There's a destination we have in mind. Gary's vision has become our vision as a company. We're following his lead, and I believe, I was going to say I believe that we're heading towards something extremely positive and something pretty epic. And I believe that Resurrected was a great first step. Let's run down the card real quick, and I'll read these match results off, and then we can cover whatever you'd like to talk about. So here's how the show went down. The opening bout was the Great Alexander Moss, Tom's Extreme, John Matthews, and Kid Holiday in a Fatal 4 match. TGA did win that bout. Exciting way to kick off Resurrected. We followed that up with Southside Films. They actually defeated Stony Hooker and Tommy Too Much. Drew Hendricks was a no-show that night. From what we were told by Hooker right before the event started, there were some complications on Hendricks' side. We don't know the extent of it, but of course we wish him well. But they were defeated by Southside Films. Sadie Lee Moss and Hayden Ramsey, the first ever women's match.
Oh, my God.
Right? The first ever. I knew you couldn't stay quiet on that. I knew you couldn't. If you missed this match, folks, tell them what they missed.
Brother, it started from the interview. Sadie come out to do the interview with, and it, Hayden wasn't even having it. She wasn't even giving her a chance to talk. We had to pull them apart before the match ever started. And brother, when they hit the ring, oh my goodness, or let's say when they was outside the ring, because they didn't stay in the ring.
Right.
That fight went through the crowd. Man, it was insane.
That was crazy, and there's sometimes as fans, and we've all been guilty of this. I would say especially the male fans have been guilty of this, and female fans as well, because again, we're all human. We all have the propensity to be fallible and to make mistakes, and especially errors in judgment. It's easy to sit back and look at a women's match, at least it was in the past, and say, "Oh, here we go. What are they going to do?" But those days are gone, folks. The women of 2020 they're bringing it. They have something to prove. They've taken this business by storm. Hayden and Sadie were told for 3 months that they're going to make history. They were told that every day for 3 months. So when you're under that kind of pressure, you do one of two things. You buckle or you deliver. And they straight up delivered. They fought as hard as two men would fight in the ring and outside the ring. And they're not done making history, by the way. We're going to get to that here in a bit.
Oh, I don't even know how we're going to handle that.
I know, right? There's more to come. Trust me. That match actually ended in a double countout. There was no winner there. There's more on that to come. The New Age Villains defeated 1776 with the hand from your old friend, the man known. I know. The man known. I am righteous.
Yeah, I am righteous. Yeah. I am a pain in my butt.
So listen, I haven't told you this because last time we spoke was last night, right? But we've texted all day and messaged all day. He has contacted, talk about blowing your phone up. He desperately wants to be on the podcast. He's probably going to go on social media and say he was never invited. He's trying to invite himself. So I know at some point Righteous will be on the podcast. I don't know when it's going to happen, but there always tends to be two sides of this story: the truth and his side. So folks, all I can tell you is we'll get to it and we can get to it.
Well, if anything, it'll be entertaining. So make it happen.
Right.
Because he will entertain the fans. That's for
true.
Sure.
That's true. But he actually gave the NAV a hand, and they defeated 1776. I have a feeling that's not over yet either. Then we had the semi-main event. Mitch Hurley, the California Dream, defeated Chris Fix. It was a good bout, good match. A surprising roll-up for the win, which led to a very intriguing moment after the match. Ken Magnum showed up on the Velocitron and delivered a message and a warning to the Greek Wolverine. Now, he says he will see him in the ring at first strike. We have not confirmed that. Magnum is not answering his phone. I don't know what the story is here, and I know you've not spoken to him, so I don't know if this was just an idle threat, if he was serious. I guess we'll keep the fans informed as this develops.
Man, the only news that I can bring to this whole situation is Ken is not happy about Crucifix supposedly representing the HVW original guys. Because Ken is the HVW original. And he was not happy about Crucifix's promo.
Yeah, it was. Chris is usually, he's an intense guy. I think we can both agree on that. He's not very approachable behind the scenes. Let's just say he wouldn't give me the time of day, and I understand. I don't care to, get cinched up or get something torn or ripped or broken. So I'm going to stay out of his way. I might be 6'3", folks, but I am not a man of action. Okay, I'm the social media director, folks. I know my place. Trust me. And it's all good. I understand these guys have their own personalities and their own charisma, their own intensity, and I get that. But I may have seen a little bit of fear in his eyes when Magnus showed up on the screen that night.
Well, them jokers have had wars in the past, so we will only see what the future holds.
Very true. Well, that leads us to the main event, folks. This was, let's start here. A barn burner, a Donnybrook, Katie bar the doors, a melee, a brawl to end them all, the Thrilla in Manila. I mean, you name it, we had it. It was J.D. Drake versus T.J. Boss. Man, what a fight this was.
Dude, to see them two big boys where they are now compared to where they were years ago when they were a fixture in HVW, I was proud to have that as our main event at our comeback show. Man, it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, it was. We were talking about Sadie and Hayden. And on any other card, those two ladies could have been the main event. But when you follow that with Drake and Boss, that was a tough one to call because these two guys destroyed each other. And the crowd was into it. They were animated. I really thought Boss had this. I got to be honest with you. I thought TJ had him dead to rights. And then JD Drake ended up pulling out the win. Of course, if anyone was there, if you've been watching our social media, you know that immediately after the match, Drake tried to, I don't want to say make peace, but he tried to show Boss respect. Boss turned on him, laid him out, as they say, and then suddenly the music of the Salem Center 6 hit, and the man that sent us the video showed his true colors and showed his face, so to speak. What a moment at Resurrected that was.
Brother, look. From the time we got that video, I tried to confirm if it truly was 6, if he was really coming. As the owner and promoter, I didn't know the man was there. I never seen him in the locker room. Never seen him in the locker room. And when I'm standing out there with the pastor of the church watching the finish to that match, and when he walked through the door, I got goosebumps.
Well, someone had his music queued up. Folks, I'm not even sure who that was. We don't. Maybe that was someone messaged you telling them that they did it. So you never know. But yeah, folks, we don't even know who pushed the button. We don't even know who did it. Like Gary said, this guy's an enigma. He's a mystery. He's a riddle wrapped inside of a mystery, covered in an enigma. That's what he is. He does not hang out backstage. I don't know if anyone that's seen him without that mask. If we have, we don't know who he is. He made it very clear that he had a problem with Boss. And he pointed up to the screen at the date of February 29th, which just happens to be the date of First Strike. There's our next big event of 2020. Resurrected ended with a segue, if you will, of sorts, a prelude to First Strike. Resurrected was fun. It was a big card. I said for 3 straight months on social media it was going to be epic, and it was. First Strike may outdo this card. It could perhaps over-deliver compared to Resurrected.
Brother, I think the card we have for First Strike is, I think it's not taking anything away from anybody on Resurrected, but I think this card is better.
It's huge. It's huge. And folks, we know that you've seen this card on social media, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to give you the matches right now. We're going to run them down real quick. We've got several new faces making their HVW debuts on February 29th at First Strike. We've got Austin Jordan versus Ace Armstrong. We've got the Teller brothers, brand new to HVW, taking on 1776. We have confirmed that, yes, I Am Righteous has secured his manager's license in HVW. He has been given his license. He will be representing the Teller brothers. And no, we don't know how badly 1776 is going to hurt him for costing them their match against the NAV at Resurrected. But it should be fun to watch. That's all I'll say about that. Jake Jacobs versus Taylor Pope versus Eric Thompson. Again, 3 brand new faces to the HVW locker room. Crucifix versus TGA, which should be amazing to watch. Then we've got the semi-main Saley Moss and Lindsay Pike, another newcomer, versus Hayden Ramsey and her partner Caitlin Marie. Then we have the main event. TJ Boss is back, of course, against Salem Center 6. What stands out to you on this card? What match are you thinking about talking about the most?
Dude, the ladies tag match. It's, I mean, we got 4 of them this time, Tom. If it's anything like Sadie and Hayden at Resurrected, I might need to hire 4 more security guys.
Maybe, if that's enough.
Good gracious.
Yeah, as we said before early in the show here, folks, the ladies have took over the pro wrestling business. And that's one of my all-time favorite quotes, I got to say. And because it's definitely true. And the ladies that Moss and Hayes and, Ramsey sort of run with, so to speak, in other promotions outside of HVW, these ladies are just as determined to make an impact. And when they heard that Resurrected was a success, when they heard what HVW is trying to do, and the future that we're trying to build for ourselves and for the sport in Western North Carolina, they wanted to be on board. So yes, the contracts have been signed. Yes, the matches have been inked. Agents have been spoken to, the whole 9. And yes, Caitlin Marie and Lindsay Pike will be making their HVW debuts, and it's going to be it's going to be something to watch. I'm just going to sit back and try not to go hoarse trying to call this match. And it may not be the easiest thing ever.
Brother, I don't even know what to do. Like I said, I might need to hire some more security guys. Because if this thing gets out of control like the first match did, we might be in trouble.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Hayden Ramsey was full of fire, as they say, and she definitely had that on display, and we thought she was going to take one of us out for sure. Speaking of new faces, we talked about Austin Jordan versus Ace Armstrong. Full disclosure time, because we are always transparent with our audience. This match was originally supposed to be Mitch Hurley versus Ace Armstrong. Mitch unable to attend First Strike due to outside issues, outside commitments, some family things going on with him. And as anytime a talent cannot be present, we always wish him the best. Any of you Hurley fans out there, the Hurley crew as he calls you, never fear, Mitch will be back. California Dream is not going anywhere. He's still a featured attraction here in HVW. And he sends his regards, and we can't wait to see him back. But yes, it will be Austin Jordan stepping up. I know you've heard great things about Austin Jordan.
Hey, man, this kid's he's a stud, man. I've seen him several other promotions. But when he gets in the ring, he means business. And, Ace Armstrong was a part of HVW in the early years. I was fortunate enough to train him and his brother when they were young. And Ace has went on to do great things in the business as well. So this is going to be a barn burner as well.
And the theme of this event seems to be the new blood. It seems to be the new talent. The Teller brothers will be along. And as we said before, I Am Righteous is representing them. We don't know much about them other than the fact that they are a tag team. They apparently are brothers. And they're going to be facing, of course, Dan Remington, Nick Nitro, 1776. And that Righteous will be at ringside as representing the Teller brothers. They're not talking. They're letting Righteous talk for them, which is, I guess that's like being the most popular guy in prison. I don't know what you compare that to. I don't know if they're doing themselves any favors or not, or if it's a good thing for them or not. We shall see, I guess, at First Strike.
Well, you seen the little promo they sent us,
Absolutely.
or Righteous released. You know, what's the deal? They hiding their face. One of them's wearing a mask. The other one's covering his face with his hand. What's up with that?
I got a very Walking Dead vibe from that promo. There's something
Yeah,
about that, you know. It looked like a prison they were in. Maybe it looked. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it was.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'll tell you this.
Hey, is this some of Six's people?
Wow, you know what? I would say that I hope not, but anything can happen in HVW, right? So dude, I don't know. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised, but it makes me wonder if Six would ever be aligned with Righteous. That seems like a very bizarre fit. That's a good question though. But I'll tell you this: I've never known Nick Nitro and Dan Remington to ever back down from a fight, and I don't see them doing it this time either.
Hey man, 1776 is on fire, brother. I'm telling you, I truly feel like uh, they're going to be a cornerstone of the HVW tag division.
Absolutely right. And to listen, one of the things that we often get asked, it's one of the ongoing questions that we get asked on Facebook, Twitter, social media, email, because our email accounts out there online floating around on all of our social media accounts. I at least a half dozen times per week get asked, when are the title belts coming? Folks, yes, there will be HVW Tag Team Championships. Yes, there will be. I don't want to reveal all of them, but yes, there's some good big plans in the works. We can confirm there will be HVW Tag Team titles. So just be patient. The titles are coming. But like you said, Remington and Nitro are on fire. I firmly believe, as you do, that they are a cornerstone, and they will surely be in the running for those belts when they do finally materialize in the company. TGA, this is a very interesting match for me because TGA has kind of went from HVW newcomer to primetime heavy spotlight, because talk about going from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. He went from opening match to being third match up on the card from the main, or second match up from the main event against Crucifix, who is a former HVW champion. Talk about how important this is going to be for TGA.
Well, TGA told me after the first match at Resurrected that he wants to be a player. And I said, brother, if you want to be a player, you got to earn a spot.
Yes.
And he said, give me the best you got. And I guess Crucifix somehow overheard that conversation, or the word got back to him, and he come to me and he said he wants the best. Give him to me. So, I brought it to you and I said, what you think? We took it to the table, took it to the committee. Everybody seems to think that'll be a great match, so let's make it happen.
Yep. As I said, I went live on Facebook the other day, and I made it known that TGA made the call to us. He's the one that called. After he spoke to you, he called me and said, I want him. Let's make it happen. And he didn't run from it. And Chris can be a little intense, yeah, but it's scary intensity. Sometimes I don't know if he realizes how scary he can get. And I think that is the wild streak that he has. And he calls himself the Greek Wolverine. I think that's done intentionally. Wolverine, the character, as we know, has got a berserker rage. I think we've seen shades of that with Crucifix. I think that the two correlate. There's a huge translation to be made there, a huge comparison. And there's things about Crucifix that don't add up. And dude, I don't know if TGA knows what he's getting himself into in this match.
Well, so you heard my phone ding, right?
Absolutely.
Guess who it was?
Well, you owe the fans $1 because, you interrupted the show with it. So all these good people listening get $1. So you better pay up.
So take a guess who it was.
All right, let's hear it.
It's Crucifix.
Oh, really? What's he got to say?
There's a promo.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't watch it right now, but I will send it to you.
Folks, this is fun. This is real life. This is good stuff. Yeah, this is as I've said before on the show many, many times in the past, if it happens live, it's not an accident and it's not a mistake. So yeah, there you go, folks. This is real life stuff. That's awesome. I'm anxious to hear what he has to say. Folks, again, we believe in being transparent. I've said it a lot, folks, but Crucifix, we don't really have to ask Crucifix for much. When he wants to speak, he tells us. He's not shy. And yeah, I'm anxious to see this as well. Speaking of people who are talking, Sadie Lee Moss has sent a video, an unsolicited video. We didn't ask for anything. 9 times out of 10, we don't ask. The stars of HVW want to be heard. They want to put their names out there. They want you folks, all you fans, to know what they plan on doing. They just start sending us their stuff. And that's what's happened here. Hayden has sent us something. It will be posted tomorrow on Monday. And it looks like Crucifix will be posted tomorrow as well. So that'll be fun to watch, I'm sure. So we've got to talk for just a second about the triple threat match. Maybe one of the star that has perhaps the most upside of all the new faces you're going to see at First Strike is a young man by the name of Jake Jacobs. He will be facing Taylor Pope and Eric Thompson. He's familiar with both of these two young men. But if the fans are not familiar with any of the three of them, what can they expect out of this match?
Action, action, action. Intensity. I'm telling you, Jake Jacobs is one of the most intense young men I've seen in the ring in a long time. I think he's got a bright future in this business. Taylor Pope from right here in Hendersonville. This kid flies, and he's wide open from start to finish. And, Eric Thompson, he's going to come out to just brawl and destroy somebody. So, man, I can't wait to see these three climb in the ring.
That's sure to tear the house down. The Fatal 4-Way at Resurrected was fun to watch. This should be along the same vein. Anytime you get more than 2 men in the match at the same time, sparks will fly because there's so much more is on the line when it's more than 2 wrestlers. Because the ability to lose the match is multiplied, and the possibility of winning the match, your odds are cut down tremendously. So when you have 3 or more competitors, the pace is a lot quicker. You're trying to do as much damage as possible, trying to get a quick pin if you can, or trying to weather the storm and trying to outlast the other 2 to 4 people sometimes. And this will be high octane for sure.
Well, Tom, I tell you, as the owner and promoter, I'm a fan of triple threat, fatal 4-ways. I'm a fan of those. So you will see a lot of that in HVW.
And I agree with that. As a fan, I'm a fan of that as well. I think it does provide sort of a nice roller coaster ride for the crowd. It's fun to watch. And also, it gives the fans a nice little showcase for talents that maybe they've not seen before. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, and folks, trust me when I tell you, there will be a title for these young men to compete for at some point. There are plans in place for more than just 1 or 2 sets of titles. There's going to be more than 1 or 2, okay? So, as we said, try to be patient with that because they will come in time. That brings us back around, of course, the main event, Boston 6. I don't know what more we can say about this. This will be Armageddon. I'm sure this will be World War III.
Yeah, get ready.
Yeah, and we seem to have an ongoing narrative here of the big man, the battle of the big man. It just so happens that the main event of Resurrected, you really wanted it to make an impact, and it did. And somehow we ended up with a very similar sort of story here. And folks, we might have a trend going here. We might have a trend of super heavyweights in our main event. I mean, that could change at any given moment. Anything can happen. But so far, it seems like we're setting a precedent here.
This is what I'm going to say, okay? As the owner, as the promoter, if to all talent that's listening, HVW talent or talent anywhere else, if you want the main event, come get it. Earn it. Whether you're 110 pounds or you're 320 pounds. If you can main event my company, prove it. Come and take it. Because I want the best of the best. And when I look at the main event, that match to me is the match that's going to tell the crowd, oh my goodness, we've got to be back next month.
Absolutely.
That's the last match they see of the night.
Absolutely. And, not for nothing, but no one handed you the main event when you were wrestling full time. I mean, making a career of it. I mean, it's you, like you said, you had to go out and get it. You had to prove to whoever you're working for at the time, hey, you should put me in that spot. I've earned this. I deserve it. So, yeah, it's like you said, if someone wants it bad enough, they have to go out there and they have to work to get it for sure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something, Tom. I'm gonna tell you something. Again, to any talent that's out there, we're gonna make a mark. We're gonna raise the bar, and we are going to be the new standard. So get on board while you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very important for us to make our mark. It's very important for us to make an impact. These are all words that we use pretty much on a regular basis because it's just how we roll, man. And we don't want it to sound like a gimmick. We don't want it to sound like we're just trying to be cutesy over here. It's this is something we really believe in, and we know that the passionate fans, our front row. We have to give a shout out to the front row of HVW. Those guys are all about it. And, we've got fans who are rabid, who are passionate about this, who message us on a constantly daily basis, who are staying in touch with us, who are buying tickets the day they go on sale. And it's, that's going to become the new norm for this company. I truly believe that. We're heading in the right direction. And I feel like that Resurrected was supposed to set the bar and get the momentum moving forward. And I think that it accomplished both of those goals, no doubt about it. And First Strike should continue. Now, folks, if you're wondering about the first Overdrive card, we are going to release that. And why don't you confirm? I know we talked about releasing it on March 1st. Typically, the day after a big event is when we release the card for the next big event. So is that what we're going with?
Yeah, I definitely think March the 1st will be the day. We may even debut it that night on the Velocitron.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you're wondering about Overdrive first card, be at First Strike, and you may just get a little taste of that card.
Absolutely. I'm pumped up. You folks are going to love it. I promise you that. Some of that card is completed. Some of it perhaps is not. A lot of the times what we have to do as a company is we sit back and watch how the events of a certain show unfold, and we see where we go from there. And, whether or not a guy or gal wins or loses in the ring is going to dictate what sort of match they have at the next show. So we've got to always think about that as well. We do definitely want what has come to be known as continuity, but all that depends on whether or not a talent wins or loses a match. Competition is a very real thing for us in this company. Nothing's handed to anyone. As Gary said earlier, if you want something bad enough, you go out and get it. And so what we do is we provide the opportunity for a talent, male or female, that we provide an opportunity for that person to come in and to prove themselves. And if they do that, then they get an opportunity to win the match. And if they win that match, the payday's better. They get better opportunities in the future. TGA won the Fatal 4-Way match. He won the first match on the Resurrected card, our first comeback event of 2020. And when he wanted Crucifix, he got it. Now, had he lost that match, he probably would not have the match with Crucifix at First Strike. So that's just food for thought. Food for thought, folks.
Well, and Tom, I'll tease you. I'll give a little teaser about the March card, about the first Overdrive card.
Yes,
we got a tag team main event, and there's a new lady making her HVW debut.
Awesome. Well, folks, if that doesn't give you a reason to come to First Strike and see what's going to happen, we just gave you the First Strike card. We told you we're going to flat out release, or at least part of the card, if not all, of the card for Overdrive, the very first edition of Overdrive. Folks, 6 matches, 17 stars, 2+ hours of action. Tickets are on sale right now for First Strike. Eventbrite.com. The links for Eventbrite.com for the First Strike event are all over our social media. We post them on the daily here in HVW. We cannot wait to see you there. It's going to be a fun event. As I told you folks before, in previous episodes, we do plan for months and months ahead. That's how we roll. And it's hard sitting on this stuff and not telling you folks about it, but getting to tell you about it and seeing the reaction makes it worth the wait. And I know that First Strike has been no different. This is event number 2 on the year. Overdrive will be event number 3. And yes, folks, we're rolling right along. It's going to be a big 2020. We want to thank everyone out there for joining us, for coming along for the ride, for coming to Resurrected. We want to thank you in advance for coming to First Strike. Anything that they want to know, you can find on all of our social media. If you got any questions for Gary, if you got any questions for myself, if I can't answer them, I'll pitch them to Gary. We'll do all we can to answer in a timely fashion. We got a good response rate on Facebook, so please feel free to ask. Feel free to reach out and ask your questions. We want to be here to help. We want to be an asset to you. We want to be, as we said, full disclosure. So what parting words do you have for the fans this time out? Give them something good here.
Before I address the fans, let me say this right quick, Tom.
Yes, sir.
To any promoters that may hear this podcast, if you're willing to at least sit down and talk about a vision that I have that could change the face of professional wrestling on the indie level, hit me up. What are you going to lose to just sit down and listen? I'm telling you, people, it's a new day. It's a new world. It's time to make a change. I've got a vision. Open your mind and be willing to just listen. Now, to the fans. HVW, High Velocity Wrestling. The new standard. That's all I can say. Come see for yourself. Come see for yourself. If you come to our show and that when it's time to go home, if you're not fully satisfied, let me know. I'll refund your money. Money back guarantee, baby.
You know, there's an old saying in the sport, the time for talking eventually comes to an end and the bell has to ring. The bell has to ring, and then you see what the truth is. And everyone on January 25th saw what the truth is. They saw a show that they've likely never seen before, but they will continue to see again as long as they follow HVW. We do present on a higher level. We do present everything to the best of our ability. The men and women signed to HVW do go out of their way to deliver, not only to entertain, but as we said, to win their matches, to be competitive, to entertain the fans, to provide a great experience for everyone in that crowd. I couldn't be happier to be involved with this. The vision is there, folks. We're moving right along. Always forward, forward always. That's how we roll here in HVW. We got to thank you folks for tuning in. Thanks for everybody out there for following us, for supporting us. Gary, thank you as always for hanging out and doing this show.
Hey, not a problem, Tom. Before we take off, man, let's throw a big shout out to the sponsors out there because we couldn't do it without our sponsors.
You are totally right about that. Completely right. Absolutely. Let's talk about the sponsors real quick. My apologies, folks. We, as we said, we cannot forget to mention these good folks because HVW would not be possible without you, the fans, but as well as our sponsors who support the company so we can provide the quality presentation that you, the audience, have come to expect. Cricket Wireless, Aaron's of Hendersonville, Four Dreamers Entertainment, Anderson and Heating A&C, Flat Rock Pizza, Stars and Stripes Construction, the Miller Brothers Incorporated, South Rock Sports Grill, and of course, last but not least, Sons of the Savior Motorcycle Ministries.
Absolutely, man. We couldn't make this happen without the support of our community. And it's, the American Legion made a lot of this possible. They helped us connect with a lot of these local small businesses. And then me just out talking, secured 2 corporate sponsors in Aaron's and Cricket Wireless. That's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely. And everybody's sponsorship means something to us. If you are out there and you are a business, whether you're locally owned or you're a chain, either or, we are very definitely interested in doing business and having a conversation. Please reach out to us if we don't contact you first. We always have plenty of room for new sponsorships. We have different packages available. They start at one level and go all the way up to the top tier, and everything in between. And there's, we accept all sorts of levels of contribution and of sponsorship, and we will advertise your company to the best of our ability because we have fans who will patronize your businesses, folks. The pro wrestling crowd is typically fans of all ages.
Absolutely.
Blue collar, working class to white collar. That's typically a pro wrestling crowd in 2020. It's one of the few instances that I know of an event that I can go to where I will see people that look and sound like me, people that I can have a lot in common with, to people that I may only meet one time in my life, and that's at the wrestling show. Maybe they're from a different walk of life. They live in a better neighborhood. They mingle with a much different set of people than I do. But for those 2 or 3 hours of that show, they're your best friend because they're having just as much fun as you are. So we absolutely cater to every age range, to every class, creed, color, orientation, race. Doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, or what you're into. We want you to be in our crowd, and we want to be part of your company because, as we said, we can sell to everyone in our audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, folks, I think that's it for us. We're wrapping it up here. We're very glad to have got this episode hammered out. We do, as we say all the time, we do have a lot of plans to keep this thing going on more of a full-time basis. As we've said many times in the past, life tends to get in the way. We get very busy with outside activities. We get very busy with running HVW. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes sitting down for an hour or two at a time is a very difficult thing to take time out of your day. So, Gary, again, we appreciate you taking the time. And, folks, we do appreciate you listening. And that's all we got for you, folks. We will see you next time right here on the HVW Official Podcast. We got lots more coming for you. Stay tuned, folks. We'll see you soon right here on the HVW Official Podcast.